I'm coming in loud and clear. Might hear me on the radio. Breaker, breaker, 19. Anybody got their ears on?
Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains, North Carolina. Tonight a blast from the past, and I mean the distant past. We have this. This is the Pace CB144. This is a lot like the TRC 444 that I reviewed a few months back. This is a memory piece. This is a classic in its own right, but perhaps not to me. So when I got started in this career, I had a TRC 217. That was my very first CB radio that I owned myself, and two-way walkie-talkie, great radio. Here's a picture of it here. And I used that before I even got my driver's license, extend the antenna out, hook it up to a wall power supply if I could, and use the batteries if I couldn't, and I'd play on that thing all the time. This was in the early to mid 80s when a lot of people still on CB. Time moves on, and I get my first car, and the very first CB radio that I was able to get for that car was this. I paid $12 for this in the early 90s. It was either 89 or 90, I think, when I picked this up. So it wasn't even that old of a radio, but because it was a 23 channel, because it was an older non-digital display, I guess the guys at the pawn shop didn't think it was all that valuable, but to me, it was priceless. And I'll show you why I actually picked well. I had read a couple of books from the library on CB. I knew what I wanted to find, and so when I got to this little pawn shop, there were probably half a dozen or maybe even a dozen CB radios of varying vintages. A lot of them were 40 channel, but I ended up going with this one, this 23 channel, and let's take a look why. Here's a close-up of the front, and as you can see, this one is ugly. This is just something I picked up for $2, but I picked it up as a conversation piece and a placeholder until I can find a really nice, clean, original unit, and I'll keep this one around as a parts unit to make sure that it's running. This one does work. Not all the channels work. It does have two bad crystals, but it still has about half the channels. So over here on the left is the CB PA mode. That's right, this does have PA. I never had any of mine hooked up to it. But we come to the first two reasons why I picked this radio over, say, a Cobra 19, which probably would have cost about twice what I paid for this new, but I didn't get it, and here's why. This has noise blanker on and off, automatic noise limiter on and off. So already it has two features that your entry-level radios just don't come with. Pace, by the way, was known for making some really great CBs, but they exited the market sometime in 79 or 80. I've owned a Pace base station. I think it was the 123 maybe. I can't remember what the Pace 1000. It was a sideband 23 channel, and it had a clock in it, but it wasn't in great health. And as you can see, it works. This button here, that's our power / on off. This one here, RF power. That's the inside there. And we move over here, and we have our squelch control. And then this one here was not so useful. Delta Tune. You did see radios up through the 90s that came with Delta Tune, but I don't think I have ever once had to adjust a signal in on Delta Tune in all the years that I've been playing with this stuff. And finally over here, although somewhat dim, here's our channel selector knob. 23 channels and an empty spot. You can see it dancing. The meter works. I mean, everything is functional. This one even came with the original Pace mic. Now mine actually had a Cobra, so finding one that had the original Pace is kind of a bonus. Same style, that same squared off style. Japanese made mic, decent microphone for sure. And you see the little TX light still works, the meter still transmits. Everything does work on this. It's really awesome that it does. Here's a picture of the back, and here's a picture of the back up close. Skip was rolling about 3 hours ago. I thought I heard somebody here, and that's why I turned it up. I was able to make one contact on channel 14 here locally with this hooked up to the Max 2000. So it is transmitting, but again, I'm going to look for a really nice one. So if you have a lead on a really clean one for maybe $25 or so, I might be interested in that. I've got it saved as an eBay search. And this one here, like the TRC 444, I'm going to start putting these on this shelf along here, just a whole string of classic radios, get an antenna switch so I can try those out at various times. But a brand you may not have heard of, a model of that brand you definitely probably never heard of. Pace's claim to fame, they were in Smokey and the Bandit. So Dukes of Hazzard had some Cobra models. Well, Pace was in Smokey and the Bandit. I'm not sure about the sequels, but in the original, I think it was the Pace 122 was the one that Smokey had, or no, the Bandit was driving around with. And so that's kind of cool there. Never heard a bad thing about them. Japanese made, high quality components, just left the market too soon. Anyway, let's turn this thing up and see if we can find anybody talking, and then we'll wrap this video up. Break channel. Break channel for a radio check. Break channel for a radio check. Doesn't look like there's anybody out there right now. It is a Sunday morning, probably, well, the sun's come up, so probably 7 o'clock in the morning. It's amazing the things that I do before the sun comes up. I do most of my work before the sun comes up. Of course, I'm a little slower now because of the back injury, but I'm still hanging in there. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for today. My name is Eric. I am still the owner of Farpoint Farms, even if we're slightly less farmy this year than in years gone by. And I wanted to show off this Pace CB144. It's a piece of history for me. It's what got me started in the hobby, and it proves that you don't need to have the latest and greatest to have some really cool CBs with some really cool features. I'll see you next time, my friends. Take care.